Good evening, Gator fans, and welcome to episode 13 of season 2 of Sports Talk with Rags. And tonight, here we are rejoined here by Greenbrier Christian head baseball coach Pat Nichols. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Hey Mark, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, and thanks for coming on. I know with my schedule, and your schedule, I know that we tried to do this before the season started, but thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, no problem. We lined it up a couple times and it just didn't work, but I'm glad to be here.
Right. Hey, so let's see. I know that you were on last season, and talked about your background. But hey, I mean, to start it off, I had one of your former high school teammates, BJ Upton, on here at the beginning of the calendar year, and just talk about you know Gator baseball back when you guys played together.
Yeah, I listened to it actually.
Oh,
You reached out for some info, some background,
right,
before you did that one.
right.
But man, we had a really fun run. I mean, we had that team was really special. Uh, I'd love to see a high school team, especially in the Hampton Roads area. Um, I'd love to watch that from not being on the team because I don't know that there's been many that have been able to rival what we were able to put together for that couple of years. So
Yeah, and it was interesting how he was saying, you guys and Kellum were like, you guys were the best private school. Kellum was the best public school, and I don't know if it was rain or just it just never worked out to have you guys
now I'll
play
tell you
on the
exactly.
field.
I'll tell you exactly what it was. We did the Beach Blast. They had this
Right,
tournament called the Beach Blast. It
right,
doesn't exist anymore,
right.
but they there was some talk about trying to bring that back amongst the high school coaches. I think Roland was part of that group that was talking about it or
Mm-hmm.
entertaining it. But regardless, we entered the Beach Blast one year and we went 4-0 and they went 4-0 and then for some weird reason they didn't line the two of us up to play in the championship game. We played somebody else and they played somebody else. So we went 5-0 in that and they went 5-0 in that. We didn't play each other. So
Right.
maybe it was a coincidence, but I'm doubting that it was. So,
Right. Well,
but anyway.
well, hey, I know that you guys are 5 games into this season. You finished last season on on top. So how is the 22 season going for the varsity program?
I think that every team has to find itself. Every team has to find their rhythm. Every team has to learn how to play together, or you don't. And if you don't learn that, you're not going to win your last game. So every team's ultimate goal is to continue to get better and progress and improve, learn to play together, work together, learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, know how to let the kids know how to pick each other up. As coaches, you're learning to manage what you have because every team is different. And um, this team, I truly believe the group that I have this year, after seeing them for 5 games, has a chance to be better than the team we had last year. We will be different. We are different, but we have a chance to be better in different ways. And so it's really exciting.
Right. Yes, and I see. Let's see. This past week on St. Patrick's Day, you played Great Bridge, and I know I've known Ken Kellum a long time. I know that he's a Great Bridge alum now leading the program. I saw that was a 9-6 game. Looked like very competitive.
Country's my buddy, man. I like Country. There's a lot of mutual respect we have, for each other. But I think he does a really, really, really good job with his program. Whenever we play against them, it's like, geez, Louise, they're always gonna they're always gonna apply pressure, and and you play against teams like that, it makes you better. I want to play good teams, right? So, you know, for your team to really excel down the stretch and be good at the end of the season, you have to be challenged. And yeah, we played them last week, and we jumped up on them, and next thing you know, we're in a nail biter at the end, and what a shocker, right? But he does a really good job. I like Country. You ought to have him on Sports Talk with Rags at some point.
Well, hey, that's another one that we've been exchanging text messages. We've been going back and forth with phone, but the thing is with with my job, just life gets in the way. So
I get it.
Ken, if you're listening, I'm still trying to get uh, get some time where we can talk Great Bridge baseball, but then after Thursday's game, then you guys took a road trip there to play a three-way there, Richmond Collegiate and Trinity Episcopal, and Trinity Episcopal, pretty good team.
Well, not to. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice here, Mark. So I'm work with me, but
Okay.
um, it's actually not a three-way. It's pretty cool. Every year we've done it for as long as I can remember. But there's like 5 schools in Richmond, 5 private schools that bring in. I guess it's 5 other private schools, or maybe is it 10? I'm not sure the numbers, but
Mm,
regardless, it's St. Chris, Benedictine, Steward, Trinity Episcopal, and Collegiate. There's 5 of them, and with Steward being in our conference, we obviously are going to play them anyway, so we'll get 2 of the 4 host schools,
right.
and it's a fun little round robin every year. You kind of get different pairings, and I assume next year we'll get Benedictine and St. Chris. But regardless, it's a good weekend, and good baseball. But yeah, we played Collegiate at their place. They've got a really good squad. They split on the weekend, and we beat them, and then Atlantic Shores came in and beat Collegiate. Excuse me. Well, off the top of my head, I don't remember. I think, yeah, no. Collegiate beat Atlantic Shores right after we beat them, and we went over to Trinity. They lost their first game. They turned around and beat us, but it was a tough day.
Yeah. Well, hey, and I see tomorrow is it already TCIS? I mean, I see that you guys have played Norfolk Christian, and tomorrow you guys play Cape Henry.
Yeah, so when games fall on our spring break week, we have to move them. So we just pick a date, and I know a game like Cape Henry, we both schools wanted to make sure we pick a date where we weren't we did that one early so that we could kind of plan around that. But that's an important game for both schools, so we did that early, and that's a makeup. But yeah, Cape Henry's a really good team. They're one of the better teams that we'll see this year for sure. So it should be a fun one right here at Lavelle Field, right here
Right.
in Chesapeake. So it should be a fun one.
Yeah, and let's see, Tim Hummel still leading that program.
He is. As interesting as it is, I used to work for Tim. So years back, over at Seven City Sports used to be actually across the street from Greenbrier Christian. So Tim's a friend. So that's a fun one. He's got a good squad. We have a good squad. Who's going to win? I don't know. I hope we win. And we're going to do everything we can to win. But he's got a good group. So should be really good baseball. And that's the awesome thing right now is there was a point in time when private school baseball was Greenbrier Christian up here, and then there was and now it's rising up to where you've got a lot of teams that are really good competition, and I think it's great for the TCIS. I think it's great for Vista in general that there are matchups like that where everybody in town knows that both Greenbrier Christian and Cape Henry are very good. So
Yeah, and I see that you guys have a pretty good homestand here in the next couple weeks. Let's see, on Friday, High Point Baptist Academy. Is that from High Point, North Carolina, or where
we
are they
drew
from?
High Point Christian, and we seem to get them like every other year down in Myrtle Beach over spring break. No, that's not the team from High Point, North Carolina. They're from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So the coach, we play them Friday night at home. Their coach reached out to me and asked me if we were interested in playing, and that was, I don't know, about 6 or 8 months ago, and I said, sure, we'll play you.
Right.
And then we've got North Cross on Saturday. North
Yeah.
Cross is a school that I don't think in my time, this is my 6 years the head coach at Greenbrier Christian. We've never played them in that time. Maybe in the 5 or 6 years when I was an assistant under Gary, um, we did, but
Mhm.
I don't remember it. So
Oh,
that'll be fun to play them. They're Division II with us. So it's amazing we never played them, but we're happy to do that. We're excited for it.
yeah, and then I know that through my brother, I got to meet Larry Gordon a few years back, and I see that you guys play Maury next week, and then Norfolk Academy here to end out the month of March.
I haven't looked at next week yet, Mark.
Right.
So I'm a week to week guy. So
Yeah.
I take your word for it. I mean, I made the schedule, so yes, I'm sure we do play Norfolk Academy later next week and Maury on Monday. But those Maury's got some talent over there too. So I think they're flying under the radar right now. I think they're um, have the potential to be a really 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 good team, and that should be an interesting matchup. They have a couple arms over there that can really throw. So that's baseball. If you got arms, you can win
Yeah.
on any given day.
Right. Yeah, and let's see, where's with everything kind of getting back to what the old normal is here for high school sports. Any I see you have games the week of spring break going back to Myrtle Beach or doing something different this year.
We're going back to Myrtle Beach, so we got to go all the way. We drew our first game in Myrtle Beach. We drew Patriot High School out of Northern Virginia. So we've never played them before. I don't know anything about them at this point. It's too far off. I'm sure eventually we'll try to see if we can figure out what they got. But I'm sure they'll be strong. And then we drew two South Carolina schools. Tuesday, Wednesday. So should be a good trip. The competition down there is always good. We play in the Division I bracket, so there's two brackets down there, and we always want to play the tougher bracket by choice, and so the competition's always tough, and they do a good job of lining. They do a good job of pairing teams, and putting you in different brackets to where it's competitive, and we always enjoy that trip. It's a lot of fun too. So I'm hoping that we get down there and it's just back to just completely normal. I think they're completely open for business down there in South Carolina, and I think most of the country is as well as far as the COVID precautions.
Right. Yeah, and I still see, Gator alums doing well at the collegiate level. I mean, I see Connor over there at CNU, going over 200 hits for his collegiate career. Eric
Hey Mark, I
doing
gotta I gotta I gotta cut you off real quick just because I don't want to take a chance on you saying something. I don't want to jinx him. So he is chasing some records over there. Yes, he
yeah.
is. But we're not going to talk about which records he's chasing. We're just going to let him break them, and then we'll talk about it. How about that?
All right, we can do that. Let's see, but I know that Eric is doing well at UConn, and Jason
Yeah.
right here at Old Dominion.
You got, yes, those three were 2017 grads, all using their extra year of eligibility from the COVID year that they lost, the COVID season, and they're all doing awesome. We're very proud of we're very proud of all of them.
Yeah,
I do my Monday rounds every Monday. I go on the computer and I look and check and see how they did over the weekend. Sometimes I see it on a tweet or something like that, but
right.
they're killing it. They're all three killing it. Ethan Ott's killing it. I mean, it's really fun to watch these guys leave, the program and the success that they're finding at the next level. So, all of them are doing a really good job, and we're really proud of them.
Yeah, I see that JT got
Yeah,
an awesome opportunity the other day.
yeah, they were playing a doubleheader. He had a grand slam in one game, and he threw 3 innings of scoreless relief, and either got the save or the win. I tweeted it. I tweeted it, but I don't remember the exact stat. But it was like, okay, who does that in the same day? Okay, he just dominated for. you know.
Yeah,
But
and then who's your seniors? I know that you got one arm here committed locally, and then the catcher going to VCU, right?
yeah, so we have four seniors right now. So we have got Bailey Matella is the pitcher you were referencing, left-handed pitcher, big tall lefty. He's a bulldog going to Old Dominion. We've got Augie Younts, catcher, stud going to VCU. We've got Gavin Whitehurst sitting in the three hole. He's center field, first base pitcher. Their best outfielder, best first baseman, one of our better arms, going to Lincoln Memorial, Division II school in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Brandon Dahlman, who transferred mid-year as military relocation from Florida up here, and we are very happy to have him. So he's a really good arm for us, and it won't be too long, and he'll be committed with the other three. So but we're really excited about the senior class. They're special, and we've got a good group in every class, on down. So it's really exciting right now, the group that we have. So
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
good kids, and they're really good kids. I mean, they have fun together. That's the they look like they enjoy spending time together. And that's the biggest thing for me is you gauge your team by how well they seem to treat each other and want to be, how do they want to be there. And when you hear them talking about all the stuff that they're doing off outside of practice and games, you're like, all right, well, you got a good thing going.
yeah. Well, I know that when my nephews were uh, were there, I know the 15-16 season. There was a core group, that were friends on the field, off the field, and when I've worked at Western Branch, there in 2014, their junior senior group, were friends on the field, off the field. I mean, so it definitely says something for a team when they like to spend time together more, on the field, off the field. I mean, definitely everybody being aligned.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, you can have the best players in the world. And I mean, you look at all those teams that, I mean, I hate to use the analogy of the New York Yankees, but there was a lot of New York Yankees teams that won a lot of World Series, and there was a lot of Yankees teams that outspin everybody, out talented everybody on paper. And I mean, there's some of those teams that didn't even make the playoffs over the last 20 years. And it's just it's the same analogy. You can have all the talent in the world. You gotta come together and want to play together as a team, and you gotta be willing to have guys that completely buy into the concept that you're trying to preach is team first, take care of your team goals, and the individual goals and awards all take care of themselves. And that's what I continually tell the kids is, who cares if you don't win, who cares if you get player of the game?
All right.
I mean, if you win a state championship, you're going to get all kinds of postseason accolades for everybody.
All right.
So let's just focus on that. Let the individual stuff take care of itself. And I think this group has that mentality. I think they've embodied that, and I think they'll continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, and I mean, I appreciate your time. I also see that you also have Cox on the schedule, so it's definitely good to see you. I mean, of course, you play other private schools, but then also the good public schools here in the area to make your team a little bit better come postseason time.
Well, Mark, there's some coaches out there that are, I don't want to use the word win collectors. That's not a fair word, but I think that's an accurate description. And I think that the way that the VHSL does their PowerPoints and all of that, it forces some coaches to need to be a win collector. You got to go get your points, and you're going to have tough district games or so forth that you feel like you may not win. And if you want get in the playoffs, you got to go get those wins. And I understand it. I get it. And, a lot of the better public schools feel like they'll play anybody. And, we feel like we'll play anybody. We don't play PowerPoints, right? So,
Right.
we do a poll, so it doesn't, if we go play Great Bridge or Cox or Maury or, heck, it, it doesn't hurt us if we lose that game. It doesn't maybe that doesn't necessarily help us if we win the game either, but what it does is make us better, and that's the ultimate goal. So I feel sorry for some of the coaches that have to schedule that way. And I understand if you're in your team is, you got to go schedule some wins, and I get it. But I'm just very fortunate that I don't have to do that. And I'm very fortunate that there's a group of the better public school coaches that are willing to play us. And I do thank them for that, because I think it makes not just us better, but I think it makes them better to play against us as well. So
Yeah, and I mean, I know you guys at the private school level, you guys based on enrollment, you guys have D1, D2, D3, but the TCIS still has the end of the season conference tournament, and then after that, then it's the state tournament, right?
yeah, so the TCIS tournament and the Vista State tournament are completely different.
Right.
The TCIS has with having Cape Henry, us, Stewart, um, you know, Nansemond, Suffolk, Walsingham's really good. I mean, you've got. I mean, you could keep going. I mean, you can just keep interchangeably. There's very competitive and good teams the last 5 years, I would say, in the TCIS, and that the TCIS tournament it's not like it's just a cakewalk for anybody. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's tougher than like the Southeastern District that they had a tournament, or the Beach District that they had a tournament, but I would say our top five schools are on par with the top five schools of any of the public school districts in the area. And you win the TCIS, you've won a legitimate tournament, and then you have to turn around the next week and play in the Vista State tournament, which is its own 8-team tournament. And there's a lot of strategy to win both of those is not easy. If you have your better arm pitching on Friday night in the TCIS championship, and then you got to turn around and play in the state quarterfinals on Tuesday. Well, that guy that threw Friday night is not going in the first round of the TCIS tournament. You got to be deep enough. You got to be deep enough to win both. And I think sometimes that's why you see teams will get knocked out of the TCIS tournament in the semifinal, and then turn around the next week and run the table. We did it last year, right? And do we do that if our better arms are throwing Friday night? I don't know, maybe. But I can tell you this much: we were fresh on Tuesday. So that's interesting that you brought that up, because there is a lot of planning that goes into those last 2 weeks of the year with the way our playoffs are set up. But
Yeah, well, hey Pat, good luck,
you,
to the
you, you didn't
team. And
you didn't ask me about our new head of baseball operations.
oh, okay, all right. So hey, I mean, one thing that I like to do is, hey, during this program, I mean, we can, whatever the guest wants to talk. So, who's your new coaching staff addition?
It's not a new coaching staff addition. He's the head of baseball operations. It's
Okay.
Gary Lavelle is back at Greenbrier Christian. We're really happy to have him. So he's kind of in an advisory role, and I mean the field's named after him. Scoreboard
Right.
has his name on it. So we're tickled to death to have him back around. But yeah, he's been at practice he's been around most days and
Right.
comes to the games, and we're tickled to death to have him back out there and contributing and being part of the program that he built. So
Yeah. Well, and hey, maybe you
I
know,
really thought you were going to ask me about that, Mark.
hey, I didn't know what the new addition. I mean, some of my contacts there at Kensville Road have kind of graduated and moved on.
Well, your
So
contacts have let you down, Mark. I figured you'd have been all over that one. I was waiting for that one.
Well, hey, I know that Elizabeth and I went to a San Francisco Giants game and saw Gary's name on a plaque. So maybe when you guys get back from Myrtle Beach, maybe we can see about getting Gary here to come on Sports Talk with Rags.
I'm sure he'd love to do it. He would be tickled to death to come talk to you, Mark.
Right. Well, hey, Pat, that's also with his knowledge and when like you said, the field's named after him, so to come back and help you guys, that's definitely a bonus for you and Gary Lee, and then also the kids that are part of the program right now.
Look, I really believe that there's I'm sure there's other really good coaching staffs around, but I just don't know of a better one off the top of my head. I mean, then we got myself, Rob
Mhm.
Younts,
Yeah.
who's amazing. Um, Gary Lee, who's very knowledgeable, does a good job with the pitchers. Bryce Lee, does an awesome job, with our JV team. But our JVs and varsities practice together at the beginning of every practice, and we do individual defense every day together. And so when you've got a former catcher, former infielder, former pitcher, former outfielder, former first baseman, and then now Gary Lavelle back around. I mean, you're covering all your bases, and we can work individual D and have a coach that has knowledge on each spot. And it's really cool to be able to do that. And we're tickled to death to have Gary back in the mix, and it's been awesome to have him back in the dugout. And it's pretty cool. So
Yeah. And hey, I'll have to, I got your schedule there on Game Changer, so I'll see when my schedule's free and come out to Lavelle Field and support the Gators this year.
sounds good.
And I'll see what I can find out there for you on Patriot Patriot High School there there to help you there for down at Myrtle Beach.
Sounds good. Sounds good,
So
Mark. I appreciate that. Appreciate you having me on.
all right. Well, hey everyone, that's kind of starting to look at promoting high school baseball here in the area. So tonight, Pat Nichols joined us. So appreciate your time there, Pat.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good evening.
All right, you do the same, and good luck to Gators baseball.
Appreciate it.
All right.